Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
A couple people sent me a story about a casino getting in trouble from MarketWatch.com, but widely reported. L.A. casino fined $500,000 for looking the other way when a gambler brought duffel bags stuffed with $100 million from marathon gambling sessions. Lucas Alpert wrote the story, and federal prosecutors say the unnamed whale, which is what the nickname is for people who spend lots of money at casinos, described only as a Chinese national, made over 100 visits to the Bicycle Hotel and Casino over 8 months in 2016. And that's one of those poorly kept secrets, as they say, and that is that how much cash gets run through casinos. And so here's the thing. Many people know this. We've talked before about civil asset forfeiture and carrying large quantities of cash on is a dangerous game to play in America. But also, transactions involving cash get reported to the IRS when they are a certain amount of money. I mentioned the word structuring a couple days ago in a video because if you know that certain amounts of money get reported to the IRS, say $10,000, and you wanted to avoid that, if you were not that bright, you would say, well, instead of depositing $10,000 today, I'll deposit $9,999.99 because that way it won't get reported. It's not $10,000. So you do a bunch of those deposits instead, and believe it or not, they can say, well, you didn't violate the reporting requirements because number one, you don't do the reporting, the bank does. But it's obvious you're doing something to avoid the reporting requirements, and they call that avoidance structuring. So someone asked me to explain structuring. There you go. So a Los Angeles County casino was hit with a hefty fine for failing to properly alert financial regulators and the IRS when a high roller walked in with $100 million in cash to bet on games. You might say, Steve, what game is he playing? What expensive game is he playing? He's playing Baccarat, which I have no idea how that works. I understand theoretically how roulette works. I know how blackjack works. I understand poker to some degree. But when it comes to some of these other wacky games, no, I do not know how it works. I have no idea. Federal prosecutors say the unnamed whale, who was a Chinese national, made over 100 visits to that casino over 8 months in 2016, often walking in with duffel bags full of cash to bet on marathon sessions of the high-stakes card game. On many occasions, his assistant would exchange millions in cash for chips, with the high roller then cashing in and cashing out approximately $100 million during the course of his months-long gambling spree. I've read stories about some of the things that happen at casinos, legal or otherwise. Not just things done by the casinos, but things done by gamblers. And there are famous stories, for instance, of somebody going into a casino and winning a ton of money and not wanting it to get reported to them. So they go find someone else and go, I'll pay you to go cash in these chips for me. And so you go cash the chips in, and I'm going to pay you to do that. And of course, the report that goes to the IRS says that you just cashed in a pile of chips. You get to deal with it, but I'll pay you. It's illegal, of course, but there are people who do things like that. So when gamblers buy over $10,000 in chips using cash, a casino is required to file a currency transaction report, or a CTR, and a suspicious activity report with the Department of the Treasury. Now, generally speaking, it's not just when you're buying $10,000 in chips. Because if you cash in more than $10,000 and they give you that cash, then they've also got to do the CTR. So, prosecutors say the casino routinely filed the forms in the name of the gambler's assistant, which is violation of the law. Last week, the casino reached a non-prosecution agreement, that is, they settled this, with the Department of Justice, and they agreed to pay a $500,000 fine and to revamp its anti-money laundering protocols. I remember a story years ago where they were talking about how somebody had walked into a casino with a bag of money, converted it to chips, walked over to a roulette table, and put it all down on one of the, not a number bet, like a color bet, red or black, and won. Picked it back up, went back over, cashed it back out, and walked out of the casino. And If it's over $10,000 either end, there's going to be a CTR. So the casino's attorney said the company acknowledged it had made a mistake. A mistake. The allegation was more than one, but they moved quickly to amend its filings and was committed to ensuring that all of its compliance and reporting programs are strictly followed and updated as the laws and regulations require. And it makes you wonder how they caught them. How did they catch this? I am pleased that the government, through its extensive and lengthy investigation, has determined and confirmed that there are no systemic faults within the casino's compliance and reporting programs, the attorney said. So the attorney said basically this is isolated incidents, plural. The bicycle casino, which sits off of the 710 in California, has operated since 1984, specializing in card games like poker, baccarat, and pai gow. And pai gow was made famous in a book called God Wants You to Roll, which is about two guys who ran a scam involving the miracle cars. I did a video about that a while back. Not sure if it's still up or not. But it's a fascinating book, God Wants You to Roll. And it's a great story, but one of the guys would take the money that they got from the scam and go play pai gow poker with it at a casino. Different casino, though, as I recall. It has frequently been featured on the televised World Poker Tour. In 2017, the casino was the subject of a raid by authorities investigating possible money laundering. A year earlier, a competitor, the Normandy Casino, which was the oldest game room in California, lost its gaming license and its owners were forced to sell amid a money laundering probe into whether drug dealers were using the gambling den to swap dirty money for chips and then cashing them out for clean money. The Normandy was later acquired by the late Hustler magazine publisher Larry Flint and renamed Larry Flint's Lucky Lady Casino. In 1990, the DEA and the IRS seized control of the bicycle casino after it was determined that it had been constructed in part using laundered money, and it was later sold to a group of investors. So the casino is still out there, still doing business, and has got hit with a $500,000 fine, which seems a little less than a speed bump to these people. And as you might guess, casinos make money. I know people who love going to casinos. And as anybody can tell you, mathematically, you're going to lose if you go to a casino. And you say, Steve, I know a guy who went once and he won. Yeah, and you could also buy a lotto ticket and win too. Somebody's going to. But the way they make money is that overall, the odds are in favor of the casinos. And if you've been to the big casinos, and I've been to the big casinos, I've actually walked through the Bellagio, okay? Didn't gamble, but I was walking through it. While I'm here, I may as well walk through it, see what's happening. And they're making lots of money. They're making lots of money. And so I suspect that the $500,000 slap on the wrist, which would be a lot of money to a person, ain't a whole lot to a casino. So they did get busted, but they've agreed to pay this fine. And it was turned into a non-prosecution agreement. So basically, it's, look, we'll resolve this right now, or we'll do it the hard way. And the right now method was to simply agree to pay a big fine and to take steps to make sure it doesn't happen again. But stories sent me both by Lawrence and Trocon. MarketWatch.com ran it. Lucas I. Alpert wrote it. LA casino fined $500,000 for looking the other way when a gambler brought duffel bags stuffed with $100 million for marathon gambling sessions. You know you got too much money when you have an assistant carrying it in duffel bags. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. In 1903, the Wright brothers invented airplanes because in 1902 they took a road trip across the country with their family.